Hello everyone! Welcome back to Moonlit Arcana. I am going to be straight with you before we even get to the cards. This spread today is not an easy one. I pulled these 4, and the first thing I felt was recognition. Like the deck looked at the collective and said, yeah, I see exactly what is going on with you right now. So if you came here today because something has been heavy, because you have been in a kind of grinding, ongoing difficult chapter and you needed someone to just name it, you are in the right place. Light Seer's Tarot today. Take what is yours from this reading. Leave the rest. The moon came out first, and I want to start somewhere unexpected with this card, not with what it means in the traditional sense, but with what it feels like to be living inside it. Because most of you watching this right now are not confused in the way people usually describe confusion. You have not lost the plot entirely. You still get up, you still function, you still move through your days. But there is this persistent low-grade static underneath everything, this sense that you are making decisions with information that is not quite complete. That the situation you are in looks one way on the surface and feels different when you are honest with yourself at 2 in the morning. The moon is that gap. The gap between the story you can tell out loud and the thing you actually sense underneath it. And what this card is specifically asking not gently, but directly, is whether you have been filling that gap with interpretation that serves your hopes rather than your clarity. There is a version of every uncertain situation that we construct to make the uncertainty bearable. We find the detail that supports what we want to believe, and we rest on it. The moon pulls that apart. Not to punish you, but because clarity, even uncomfortable clarity, is more useful than comfortable fog. 9 of Wands beside it is where I want to spend some real time. Because this card is one that gets read as a victory card. You are still standing. You have come so far. Keep going. And yes, that is in there. But look at the figure in the Light Seer's version of this card. Really look. That is not someone who is winning. That is someone who has forgotten what it felt like not to be tired. Someone who has been holding the line for so long that holding the line has become their entire identity. They are not even sure anymore what they are defending or why they just know they cannot stop, because stopping would mean admitting something they are not ready to admit. Does that land for anyone? The moon and 9 of Wands together are not describing a passing rough patch. They are describing a sustained state, something you have been white-knuckling through for long enough that it has started to feel normal. And the deck putting these 2 down first is not an accident. It is the foundation everything else in this reading is built on. I know the Tower is the card nobody wants to see, and I am not going to insult you by immediately pivoting to, but actually it is a good card. Let it land first. Something is breaking apart or it is about to. Something that took real effort to build or real effort to maintain is not going to hold. That is what this card says, and I am not going to soften it. What I will say is this: go back to the moon for a second. The moon told us you have been navigating something with incomplete information, telling yourself a version of events that made the uncertainty livable. 9 of Wands told us you have been sustaining that navigation through sheer willpower long past the point where it was sustainable. Now ask yourself honestly, what kind of structure gets built under those conditions? What kind of thing do you construct when you are exhausted and operating in fog? Not your strongest work. Not your clearest decisions, not the foundation you would have laid if you had been rested and clear-eyed and working from full information. The Tower is not demolishing something solid, it is demolishing something that was already compromised at the base. And the lightning that brings it down, the sudden conversation, the revelation, the moment something finally snaps, that lightning does not create the problem. It just makes visible what was already there. I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually sit with it, rather than immediately answering what in your life right now have you been holding up that you secretly suspect cannot hold indefinitely? Because that is what the Tower is pointing at, and it is better to name it yourself than to wait for the moment it names itself for you. This is the card that made me exhale. Page of Pentacles after the Tower is a very specific kind of message, and it is one I do not want you to rush past. Because the temptation after something collapses is to immediately ask, what now? What next? How do I fix this? What do I build instead? That urgency is understandable. but it is also exactly what this card is asking you to put down. The Page of Pentacles is not a builder yet. They are a student. Someone who has just picked something up, a new direction, a new understanding of themselves, a new way of approaching their life, and they are holding it carefully, studying it, not yet sure of all its edges. There is something almost reverent about the energy of this card. It is the energy of someone who has been humbled enough by what just happened that they are no longer in a rush to prove they have recovered. That humility, the willingness to be genuinely new at something, rather than performing competence you do not quite have yet, that is what Page of Pentacles is offering you as the next chapter. Not a triumphant comeback, not an immediate glow-up, just the slow, grounded, unglamorous process of beginning something real. And I think after the Moon's fog and Nine of Wands' exhaustion and the Tower's collapse, real is exactly what you need. Not impressive. Not fast, real, solid. Something you can actually stand on this time because you built it with clear eyes and honest information and the kind of patience that only comes from having learned, the hard way, what happens when you rush. The Page of Pentacles does not promise you that what comes next will be easy. It promises you that it will be yours in a way the previous chapter maybe was not. 4 cards. A fog you have been lost in, a wall you have been defending past the point of reason, a structure coming down, and an invitation to begin again more slowly and more honestly than before. If you came here today feeling like something is ending, you were right. And if part of you is terrified by that, that makes complete sense. But Page of Pentacles does not show up after Tower readings by accident. It shows up because the deck knows what is on the other side of this. Leave me the card that found you in the comments. I read every single one, and some of you write things down there that genuinely stay with me. Subscribe to Moonlit Arcana if you are not already here, and take good care of yourself today. This reading asked something of you. Blessings and light to all of you. See you in the next one.